Star Scavenger, Episode 2, The Ghosts of Kaelen Prime. Please like and subscribe. The stargazer rattled out of hyperspace with a sound like tearing metal, emerging into the grimy light of a polluted star system. On the view screen, Kaelen Prime hung like a tarnished copper coin, its orbital space cluttered with the jagged silhouettes of shipyards and debris fields. Marco's hands were still clenched on the controls, his knuckles white. The hyperjump had been blind, guided only by the star charts now burned into his mind, charts provided by the artifact. It had chosen this place. The polyhedron sat on the co-pilot's seat, once again inert and silent. He'd tried talking to it, shouting at it, even begging it for more information. Nothing. It was just a rock. Yet the proof of its power was the very fact he was here, in a system he'd never visited, instead of being space dust back in the shattered crescent. The signal is faint. A custodian fragment remains. Seek the silent market. The voice, when it had come, was a ghost in his machine. A data packet that had flickered across his comm screen for a nanosecond. It wasn't a conversation. It was a command. The silent market? Marco mumbled, running a scan of the planet below. Kaelen Prime was a known haven for scrap dealers and info brokers, the kind of place where you could buy a new identity or a military-grade plasma rifle. No questions asked. It was also the kind of place where a lone scavenger with a valuable secret could disappear forever. He set the stargazer down in a designated scrap lot on the outskirts of a massive, rust-colored trading hub that sprawled under a dome of patched-up ferrocrete. The air was thick with the smell of ozone, fried protein, and decay. Everywhere he looked, beings of a dozen different species bartered and bickered over piles of technological junk. The silent market wasn't on any official map. It was a sub-level rumor, a place for transactions that required absolute discretion. Following another vague, intuitive nudge, a feeling more than a thought, Marco found himself descending a corroded staircase into the planet's underbelly. Here, the noise of the main bazaar faded, replaced by the drip of water and the low hum of illicit tech. Stalls were shrouded in darkness, and deals were made with subtle hand signs or encrypted data chips. Marco felt a dozen pairs of unseen eyes track him. He was looking for a custodian fragment. He had no idea what that meant. A person? A piece of tech? The artifact in his backpack felt heavier with every step. His salvation came from the most unexpected place. A small, grimy hand tugged at his jacket. He looked down to see a child, a human girl no older than 10, her face smudged with grease. She didn't speak, just pointed to a shadowy archway behind a curtain of hanging cables. Hesitantly, Marco stepped through. The room was a cluttered cave of forgotten technology, and in the center, sitting in a floating repulsor chair, was an old man, or what was left of one. Half of his body was cybernetic, his face a mosaic of wrinkled skin and polished chrome. One of his eyes was organic, faded, and wise. The other was a glowing red scanner that swept over Marco from head to toe.
The Whisperer sings for you. I am Eli. I was a custodian long ago.
Marco's breath hitched. You know about the artifact?
I feel it, Eli replied, his mechanical eye focusing on Marco's backpack, just as I felt the others before they were silenced. He gestured to a wall where a series of empty mounting brackets were set into the rock. I once tended a garden of such wonders. Now I am the last gardener, hiding in the weeds.
The ship that attacked me? They were destroying the derelict. They called themselves the Devourers, Marco asked, the word feeling alien and terrifying on his tongue. Eli's organic eye closed for a moment.
A fitting name. They are a cult, fanatics who believe that transcendent knowledge is a sin, a corruption. They don't seek to possess the archives, they seek to unmake them, to return the galaxy to a state of pure ignorance, and they have ears everywhere. You were a fool to come here so openly.
Before Marco could respond, a high-pitched alarm shrieked from a panel on Eli's wall. The old man's face tightened.
They're here. Scanners just flagged a Devourer cleansing squad at the upper level. They've tracked you. Panic seized Marco.
What do I do?
The artifact chose you for a reason, boy, Eli said, his chair whirring as he turned. He tapped his chrome temple. The knowledge is not in the stone. The stone is a key that unlocked you. Now you must run, and you must listen, not to me, but to the echo inside. He pressed a data chip into Marco's hand. These are clean nav coordinates for a fringe system. Go. I will lead them away from you. My time as a keeper is over. Yours is just beginning.
No, I can't just leave you,
Marco protested. You already have, Eli said, a sad final smile on his human lips. With a wave of his hand, a hidden door slid open in the rock, revealing a dank tunnel. The path is clear. Run, custodian. And remember, the Devourers are not the only hunters. There are those who seek the archive to wield it as a weapon. Trust no one. Marco stumbled into the tunnel, the door sealing behind him. He ran until his lungs burned, emerging into the acidic rain of the surface, far from the stargazer. He had a data chip, a head full of ghosts, and a galaxy of enemies. The artifact in his bag was silent, but he could feel its presence now, a cold weight against his spine. It wasn't just a treasure. It was a responsibility, and it had just cost a good man his life. As he sprinted through the rain-slicked alleys towards his ship, one of Eli's last words echoed in his mind. The knowledge is not in the stone. The stone is a key that unlocked you. What, Marco wondered, with a fresh wave of terror, had he been unlocked for? To be continued in Episode 3, The Edge of the Black.